He's want a little something that's raw and authentic? Well, here's one that's done, hoping ears are ready for it. My biggest fear was disconnection, but here's the rest that was never mentioned. All at once it hits it simultaneous, hence why this took a bit. Marked with the stain of it, deeper than the nicotine dip fingertips. And believe me when I say it, you grieve more than just your habits. Processed and now written, this is a memoir of an addict. What else is never mentioned is the writhing and the bending, of agony that sees through your being and decides on ascending. You to hell with its twists, its depths, you begging as you're descending. Into your torturous nights where you're tossing and turning, you're detoxing and you're burning. Every faceted joint on fire, dipped head first into lava pits. Curled in a ball convulsing, your mind splitting in a million bits. The pieces scatter and drift as ashes do from volcanic splits. Foundations shatter apart massive, it's a tectonic shift. With the pain of your limbs tearing from their sockets, then into the flames of the furnace they're tossed in. Scorching inside and out and unable to do nothing, except lay there curled up involuntarily rocking. Hours blend to days as your body screams for the chemicals. A whole different level of codependent manacles. With your life's habits and sets of behaviours like tentacles. Literally being set free from, but at the beginning feels heretical. Then all at once it hits it simultaneous, hence why this took a bit. Marked with the stain of it, deeper than the nicotine dip fingertips. And believe me when I say it, you grieve more than just your habits. Processed and now written, this is a memoir of an addict. So the fuck wants to change when you've grown to love yourself? That's exactly it. Had to look in that void and dust that shelf. Look a little closer, dig up that shit and was honest, holy fucking hell. What I found was decades old, so deep this attachment was to someone else. It was someone close I didn't say goodbye to, one day there, the next not so. Years later met again, then history repeated, fuck where'd you go? Through no fault of our own, shit we were kids, how could we know? That was only intended as a visit with no convos of do's and don'ts. But no understanding that, so what was felt was then suppressed. And all I had to do was just pretend there wasn't an absence. So what to do now to keep up this pretense? Oh I know, feel the shit out of this void with every drug and substance. And fuck it, nearly worked too, nearly became an artist at this. Till the days came when enough was enough and I'd glance at my ciggies. These cheeky pricks, the last to be ticked off my addiction list. But to share now for the first time, this hellish fire wasn't the worst of it. And all at once it hits it simultaneous, hence why this took a bit. Marked with the stain of it, deeper than the nicotine dip fingertips. And believe me when I say it, you grieve more than just your habits. Processed and now written, this is a memoir of an addict. I'm not really certain whether to mention the 3 to 5 years. Subconsciously off chops and oxy to keep away the pain and tears. It was tricky prick too, cause I didn't admit I was hitched on for years. Till I went to get off him and it dropped me, slipping from the cold sweats and fears. Whole body shakes and near convulsing, it was reckless. I'd had enough, so as always it's cold turkey, no more 6 before breakfast. Fucking hell, should have seen that pill pile. It's just one from the meds list. The rest of them not even gonna mention, except one outlined in the next bits. The worst for me was the come down and withdrawals of antidepressants. It was driving back from my unit after seeing the kids at our midweek visit, holding each of them tight gripped and not really knowing when I'd see them next. The tears on my cheeks I'd quickly wipe with the edge of my wrist, because I was seeing it, the trunk solid and straight up as eucalyptus. I'm now in the car driving and again I see it, it's right there in my vision. My foot's a little flat, I'm accelerating, getting it lined up to hit it. Head on and smash it and this life exit it. These 3 things together I mentioned that prevented it. The first 2 were the faces of my kids smiling, please dad, don't do it. The third being the voice of an artist whose lyrics are ever resonant. So it's thanks and massive love to these 3 that I didn't veer into it. For me that was definitely some hectic shit. Now I'm on my last bit to tick off that addiction list. How much of my self-identity have I embedded in the activity of a ciggy? I'll be timing with precision any activity with its addiction, as a means to fill the void of genuine connection. And in all honesty, it's pretty consistent with its attachment to memories. So if addiction's ever something you've struggled with, there's another something to remember it's you to trust in with. Because who's better, who's more capable to accomplish it than you who've experienced every second of it? You, who's your very own and specific catalyst.